On this episode of Hotrod Kid Garage, we rebuild the steering box in my F100. Alright, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to try to rebuild my steering box. So I've been driving it for quite a while now with the way the steering is, and as you can see it has a lot of play. So it kind of drives where it wants to. So we're going to try to take the steering box out right now and then hopefully rebuild it. I feel like this is going to go badly. There's a lot more threads on this thing than I thought. Of course. Of course it does. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, no crowbar necessary. Oh.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
You just figured I'd let you know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. When it gets tighter, it kind of tells you you're going the wrong
Yeah,
way.
sometimes. Alright, go ahead. Go ahead, what? Turn it. I don't have any.
can't.
I don't have any range of motion.
You're supposed to turn it. I got the nut. You got the bolt. You turn it.
You can turn it too.
No, I can't.
Fine, I'll try. Even though I got like 1 inch that I can move it at a time.
Put an extension on it if you don't have any more reach.
Then it won't. Then it.
A shorty extension.
That doesn't work. You're good.
Didn't even give me the right wrench.
What size is it?
Well, it ain't this one.
Is that a 5/8 wrench?
Yep.
Because a 5/8 socket fits on this side.
Okay, it's not 5/8.
Okay.
I'm laying on the ground
Is it
now.
too big or too small?
Too small. Oh my gosh, my finger hurts. You're funny. I'm laughing down here. Ha ha.
It's working.
No kidding. Dang, that pinched my finger. Ow! What was that? What was what?
Something jabbed me in the side. Just didn't want to have to take more stuff apart.
Okay, but this is the deal, okay? Because if you take that loose down there, when you go to pull it out down there, this whole thing's gonna want to go with you.
Okay, so we were gonna try to separate the column from the steering box, but we were having some issues with that. So now what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to pull the steering wheel off and just send the whole column through.
What size is that?
Big.
Big. That works.
Oh, there we go. Oh gosh.
Slide.
Yep.
Oop, do I need to hold that?
No.
Where's it going to?
It's right now it's just sitting on the.
Cross member?
Yep. There we go. Well, we finally got it out. Now we're probably not going to tear into this till tomorrow, but at least we got the steering box out finally. Alright guys, so it's the next day. We finally got my steering box pulled out of the truck, which was the hardest part so far. It's a lot harder than we thought it would be. So now we're going to tear into the steering box and hopefully rebuild it. I got this little kit off of the early Ford store. We've never rebuilt a steering box before, so this is definitely not a how-to video. It's probably going to be more of a learn from our mistakes video. But
Why did we do it?
we're going to go ahead and tear into this, and we're going to figure out where all these little parts go.
Take it all the way off. Just dump that out right there. Plug in there.
Shot of the kit before we.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were gonna do.
See what you're doing.
Okay.
Look good?
There's 1, 2, 3 gaskets on there. See that? Slide that out, and then you got your inner bearing is right here, right there.
Can you grab that off in?
And then your rates, yep.
Alright guys, so we just got my steering box all torn apart, which is the easy part. Now it's time to take all these new parts and put it back together.
Yeah, once we got this steering box torn apart, we realized we can see in here, and there's actually metal particles all over inside here. And this gearbox has been dry, well, not completely dry, but mostly dry. It just hasn't been getting oiled properly, and so we're thinking that these gears, these worm gears, as they move back and forth, have just been wearing a lot. We're hoping that by replacing this, it's going to tighten up the steering quite a bit.
Alright guys, so I'm turning to my gearbox here, and this little gear, worm gear right here, what I was doing is when I scrape this with this, and then I wipe it on my hand here, you can just see how much metal flake is all inside of these gears and all over in the steering box.
Try this one. See that there, I think.
Alright guys, so we just popped out our old bushings, and you can tell they're pretty worn out, and so we're going to end up replacing them with these shiny new ones. Alright guys, it's day 3 of working on the steering box. We got all the old parts pulled out of it, we got the new bushings and new bearing races put in here. So all the pieces are ready to be put together. Now we just have to assemble it, and hopefully we'll have a working steering box.
Really quick, we didn't show you this earlier, but this is actually the worm gear that's off of the steering shaft itself, and it's in really bad shape. I know that it's worn quite a bit because the gears are starting to get pretty sharp and pointed, and there's a huge pit out of the inside of this gear and a flat spot on here as well. Not quite sure how that got like that one flat spot, but it's definitely affected the steering.
That looks fine to me. It's got plenty of grease, and it's gonna be full of gear oil too.
You're gonna
Oh,
mess to
that's
clean up
not
in
it.
here. Well, then go get the one that it is.
Probably that one.
It's not this one.
Well, then where is it?
We don't have it.
Is
It's in the toolbox, probably where it should be.
Yeah. Well, the drawers aren't open now because I closed them for you, by the way. Alright guys, so we got the whole steering box all bolted in. It's all hooked up, and now is the time to see how well it steers. I can already see just by sitting in the truck and wiggling the steering wheel back and forth that it's tightened up a lot more than it was before. So now is a drive test. So I just took the truck for a drive, and the steering is way better than it used to be. I used to have about this much play in the wheel before I'd even feel any steering. It still does have a little bit of play, and that's something we might be able to tighten up, but it is also just an old truck, so compared to what it was, it's way tighter than it was. And I just little corrections when I'm driving down the road and keeps it straight. When before it was just like a dump truck just all over the road, so it's improved a lot.